So let's take a look at writing posts. So a lot of this writing post starts off with, if you're the only person running the website, you'll probably be the administrator and you just don't have to worry about this at all. But once you get other people involved, this becomes a critical item as to who has what capability. So let's follow that through a little bit before we get to permalinks. So what we want to do is go to, we're going to have to sign in as another user, and I just want you to see the difference. So I'm going to log out. And now I have to sign in as one of these users, ALH contributor, the name of the user, and my secret weak password. So now logging back in, and the first thing you notice, the less number of choices in the administrative panel. And this will be similar on WordPress.com. The choices are limited to your role, of course. See, so there's no user choice here as a matter of observation, update their profile, put their picture, things like that. So we'll go to posts, and we'll start a new post. I have a lot of posts running here. And I am a new contributor. I'm assuming the role is still contributor. This is my first post. And then let me just highlight this, and we'll put in here bold. Now, the last session we did talk a little bit about this posting editing screen, and so this is the visual version, which most people will use. And actually, there's another toolbar here, and these are all these toolbars of things that you might want to be able to do. And if you just hover over them, they'll tell you what they are. Some authors can write in Microsoft Word. They have a copy and paste from Word. They strip out some of the, or interpret some of the formatting for you. You can change your text color. So you have different capabilities here that don't require you to know the HTML. Whereas we showed last time, if you go over to the text version, you now have a limited toolbar, some to help you put in some links. Basically, you're responsible for formatting. So I have on our web page a couple of links for what HTML is allowed in text mode. For those of you that do want to actually use this at all, there are some pages on WordPress.com that explains what they allow, what they do not allow, especially there, since it's a shared community. They have a lot of rules. And then also on your own where you can do it. But when you have your own website, your own WordPress, you have a lot of capability as to what you want to do, because there's somebody that's written a plugin to override any restriction that might be there. Right, so we come back to visual. I'm going to stay in the visual area. Right, so the first thing we want to observe is that we have, last time we looked at it, we have a preview mode, and you understand how that works. That opens another tab, and see the tab is now opening. And then you can sort of see how your post is going, and then you go back and you can edit some more. Forgot to say more. And you can preview it again. It doesn't open the tab automatically, but it does refresh it. And there's the post slowly but surely processing. And as I mentioned before, the user has a profile page, so their names are on the website, so they can click on them, their profile will come up. And go back to the editing page. So we have statuses. The status is a draft and visibility. And it looks like the contributor has very little control over these, but notice the button says submit for review. So this is when they're done, they can submit it for review. And then the administrator would pick up actually working on it at that point. And so that's basically all I wanted to do, is to show you about the roles for the users. So each one's a little different. We only have a short presentation period here, so because of that, I don't have a lot of time to go to each one and show all the differences, but you can explore them one at a time. You're going to need a couple of Gmail accounts, or the other thing you can do is just create one user and just keep changing their role back and forth. Trouble is, you got to keep logging in and out just to try it out. But some of the menu choices are obviously going to change depending on their capabilities. And pretty much the contributor is the low-end writer. They're the new junior writer on the staff, so they have a little less capabilities to what they want to do. So let me sign out as this user. Well, let me submit this for review. and then I'll sign out, and we'll sign back in as the super user. And that is, let me just look that up again. That's, oh yes, Demo Blogger, as I remember, and its password. So we're back in as a super user at this point, or the super user for our own hosted site as administrator. And if we go to posts, we can see we have 2 pending. So we can take a look at the pending ones. And here's this second post as contributor. We see they already made a typing error, so we'll go in and edit it. And this didn't write too much, did they? All right, so we write a couple things in here, and now we see this panel is a little different. So depending on the role you give the person, they have a little bit more capability over to the status of the post. So one of the things we have is the visibility. So you can have a post that's actually published, and you can change it so that it's private, so no one can see it again, or you can give it a password. So this is useful in the case of you're trying to post something that only a few people are going to have access to, so you give it a very particular password. Then you'll have to contact those, because when they try to bring the post up, they'll be prompted for the password. So that's kind of a useful feature for sensitive material, or something that you're writing but you're not ready to release and you want people to review it. Now, the WordPress.com also has a review state, but I think it's open to a little bit more open, so we can look at that separately. So you have this capability, it's the visibility. Then you have the pending status. And so right now it's limited to a draft or pending review. And then we have the publish status. So after you publish a post, you can change the date and time of publishing if you need to. That happens occasionally. You'll want to publish something on a certain date, and it will get published the day before, or whatever. It's just a matter of you trying to get the publishing date synchronized with the content. So that, in one way, opens up the ability for you to put a date in on something that's not relevant, but sometimes you need to move the date up to make it more relevant. But that's just a feature that they have built in. All right, so I'm going to hit, you can do save as pending. That's just to update it as you go. Then you also have the revisions. Browse the revisions, and it will give you a list of all the revisions, and it will show you some of the changes. This one's not showing you too much, but it will give you the changes that are capable here as well. So this one doesn't have a lot in it. Let me see whether they gave me another tab. I go to previous. Okay, so here's a good example. And so my change was from past to post, and then from contributing to contributing yo what ha. So that's basically showing you, and then you can restore this and start working with it if that's where you wanted to start from. Previous. And I don't know how to get out of this, actually. Compare my revisions. I think I just click here and go right back to it. Yep. And so there I am at this point, where I left off before. So that gives you a little bit of a view over controlling the content as it gets edited and posted. And so this also applies to pages. So you can also create some pages where users can also edit those as well. So in this case, it's a little different. We'll do pages on another session. Can't do it all today, but pages have some a little bit different twists, and we'll do menus as well. So this gives you the view of posts. And the editing process, we can go over one of these icons, but they're really, a lot of them are self-explanatory. And so you just need to use them and practice with them, and you can preview anything you're working on.